Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 with our realistic series. Over there. So let's just go and visit that one a second. There, milk and sheep's milk goes into there. And then if we run round here, Coronella, distribuidor de productos lácteos. I'm assuming there's something to do with lactose products. So I have that right there. Now, there doesn't seem to be somewhere that you can put pallets out if we were to buy it. Let's have a look and see if it is a place that we can buy. Go to farmland. Right, that's not a thing we buy unless we buy, like, everything. I've had a bit of a wander around to see if I can find anywhere that we can turn sheep milk into sheep cheese on the map. It doesn't appear to be so. So, what I will probably try and do is get the sheep cheese mod that I did have and put that back into my folder. I'm going to bring this one back up and start reloading it with water. I won't worry about running it down to the sheep again tonight, mainly because we don't have any sheep there, so it's not urgent or anything. We can carry that on down in the morning. So let's bring you to there and shut you off and leave that one filling. And we're going to run back over to our bed chamber and get a bit of sleep. It is a brand new morning. Brand shiny new day. So, we should have, in theory, down here, if we go growth right there, that is now ready to harvest. Field 35 is not yet ready to harvest. We've got to wait another month for that one. I was hoping, actually, that one would be one of the first ones. Field 37 has got a nice crop of grass in there that we can go after, so we've got that one to deal with. And we need to do something up in 36. We'll probably get a tractor going up there with the ploughing. Now, our tractor that was out of action is now back in action, so that one will be absolutely fine. This tractor will probably be doing some grass-related stuff, so that tractor over there, I think, is the one that we will use for starting the ploughing. Before I do that, though, we're going to go into here. We're going to go to our beet technology right here, and we need to pick out what we want to use. So this one here has got a 30 cubic meter container. This one's 43. This one is 45. I've got some additional ones that can have some rather unrealistic options on them. I'm going to ignore those for now. We're just going to stick with these base game options that we've got. And it's simply a choice between the Roper Tiger right here or the Grim Rexor. Now, the Grim Rexor has got, by the look of it, a header that doesn't detach. So that one is a set size. Does 10 kilometers an hour working in the field. It doesn't give us a working width. But it's got that machine on, it's got that header on the front, which is the same size as the actual machine. And it does the 10k across the field. So I was wondering about speeding it up ever so slightly to just help us rush things along a little bit faster. That one's 471,500. This one here, slightly smaller tank at 43. So what was the other one? It was 45, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's, the difference between the two tanks is minimal. This one is 768 horsepower. This one here is 653. So this is an altogether bigger, more powerful machine. It still only does 10k across the field, but we need to get a header for this one. So if we go back from there a second and we go into here and we go to our beet technology, we've got the 2.7 meter header there, and then this one is a 4 meter header that goes on the other one. Now, there are some other headers that we can get as well. There's a Homer one there that's nearly 6 meters wide. I've got the multi-fruit one there that's 4 meters. That one is one that's edited by Stevie. It's basically the base game one. It's just been given some additional color options. So we could have something a little bit different on there if we wanted to. That's the Stevie one that's had the speeds edited on it. These are the 5.4 meter ones. So 5.4 meters does actually seem a pretty sweet deal. I got to be honest. I think we'll go with this one. We'll go with that one right there. And we'll leave it on the standard speed so that we can kind of see what this is like. And then maybe in the next field, I will just speed things up a little bit or go for a different machine. I'm not quite sure just yet. So that one I need to lease for 4,000 euros. And then if I go back and we go into here, we go to the Beat Technology, it's this one, the Tiger 6S. Now, wheel setup. We've got Trelleborg wheels, we've got Michelin, we've got Mitas. We'll go with these. That's going to stay the same. We're not going to worry about any of that. So this is lease 499. So 500,000 euros. At least that one. Now, this is very important. It's 10,000 for the base cost. Per work day is 5,000 euros. And per work hour, I was going to say arrow for some reason, I don't know why, it is 10,479. So every hour that we do, every real life hour that we do, it costs us 10,479 to use this machine. So it's quite expensive to go and use it. Then, if we keep it, it costs us 4,990 per day to actually keep the thing here a bit longer, and then you've got a base cost. Now, initially, you get all three of those crammed in at once. If I want to keep this one for 2 more days, it doesn't cost me any of this, and it doesn't cost me the base cost either. It does cost me this one for each of the next 2 days. So 4,990 today and 4,990, well, I'm already paying that today. So tomorrow and again the next day, I have to pay that fee, which is the same as that one. If I was to return this one and then lease it again, I would have to pay an additional 15,000, this bit right here, in order to release it. So it's actually going to be cheaper for us if I lease it now and then keep it for doing the rest of it. So I'm wondering if I've made the right choice with... What we could always do is return the header and then we could change it. So the working speed on here is not going to make any difference. I'm going to set this working speed as high as it will go because the working speed is actually regulated not by this, but by the... So I'll go to 20. It's not regulated by this, it's regulated by the header itself. So this bit won't make any difference. But if I set that to the highest point, then on our next field, if I choose to and just speed it up a tweak, so say we do it at 12 or 13 kilometers an hour instead of 10, we don't need to lease this one again in order to be able to do it. So that's my reasoning behind all of that. And I'm going to get the 25,000 euro expense right there. The other thing that we need is a trailer. So we've got our trailer that goes on to the lorry, but we're also going to want an auger wagon. And I do want to do this with one of these. We want a beat cart. So we've got that one, we've got that one. This one holds 50. This one holds 45. Now, our sugar beet harvester is about 43. I'm thinking the bigger one here would be better because we can run alongside it. When the thing's nearly full, we can run alongside it a little bit longer and just take a little bit more sugar beet out while we're running alongside it. So this would be the bad boy that we want. We're going to lease that one as well. It's another 7 grand that we've got to fork out at the moment. It's not so bad once you get going. The daily costs are not so great. That one should be absolutely fine. Another thing that we're going to need to do, which we don't have at the moment, is we need a sugar beet cutter. Now, that one is quite important. And I've thought about how we can bring the sugar beet to the farm, whether or not we use the lorry. And I don't think it's worth using the lorry at all, not unless we were to get extra trailers. The one trailer that we work in the field on the tractor, we could just keep it on that one. And the advantage of that one, if we go to Yeah, we're on the factories. The advantage of that one is it should be able to reach high enough to go and actually reach inside the cut master, which is this one right here. So I want to put a cut master down somewhere, and it needs to be in such a place that we can easily access it with the stuff that we've got coming in. So that one there is to make fertilizer. I've got a little bit of space over here. I think this is actually a good spot over here. Now, of course, the other option is to bring it across the road, because one of these is the sugar beet storage. I can't actually remember which one. Except that I don't have room to put this in here with the sugar beet storage. So that's not really an option. We're going to need to put it up in the yard somewhere. And I'm thinking kind of over here, because this is out of the way. If I put it there, I can still access that. We're not really going to use that one. It would help if I knew what we've got. So that one there, that's the olive warehouse. I'm not really going to be using the olive warehouse, to be honest. That's not one that's going to come up in it very much. So the sugar beet and the potatoes are these two up this end. So let's go back into here. Buildings, production, cut master. Right. It was... I mean, I suppose I could put it over here near the... I could put it down here somewhere near this one. That could actually be a place. There's just not enough room in here to bring lorries in around this area here. I just don't have enough room to put it close to the sugar beet thing. So that's not an option. I could put it over here, but that's going to give us even less room for shunting around getting into the shed there, which is already a little bit tight. So it's either got to be here, and in order to fit there, it needs to be this way round, which means it would need to go kind of there, I think. Or I could put it up here. This is actually probably the better place to put it. I'm going to be moving those greenhouses, so I'd want to put it back over this way. We need to move that tractor weight if we're going to put it up there. Or I do it over here, because that is not really going to be much of an issue. I'm not going to be using it a great deal, so it doesn't need to be one of those ones that I've got to be able to access easily and quickly a lot of the time. It's just going to be accessed a bit. That is a very low-flying balloon right there. I reckon we'll put it back over here. I'm going to go right there. I won't do anything else with it. I'm going to leave it right there. There's the balloon going down low over the farm. I need to put a bit of water into that thing, so we could go and do that. I'm now ready to go. So we'll have the cut sugar beet going through that one. Let's jump into here. And we can have a look in there. I got the cut master right there. It takes a sugar beet and 0.2 water, and that makes cut sugar beet. So it's 1 for 1 and uses a little bit of water as well. And that will just keep running. It has 12,000 cycles per month, so it does get through it pretty quickly. You can only put 20,000 litres into the thing, and you can only have 20,000 litres stored in the thing as well. So it doesn't hold vast quantities of anything. We will have to sort of put it through there and then shunt it on to the next bit. Liquid we bring here, and then the actual sugar beet itself has got to go in over the top, which is going to be an issue later, but while we're doing the harvest, it's not going to be a problem at all. At least I don't think it will be. I'm counting on being able to... This is why I've built it now, because I'm counting on being able to tip it straight in the top. That's what I'm really hoping is going to happen. And also, I'm just curious, can we use the auger wagon to move the cut sugar beet? Let's go and have a look. That's just potatoes. These are basic. No, we can't. It doesn't handle the cut sugar beet. These ones here, they're edited by Stevie. These can handle the cut sugar beet and do everything. And I might actually just use one of those. We've got a sugar beet cutter one there. I might use like a handles everything machine at some point to do some of these jobs. Because I figure it's probably going to be a little bit easier to do that than trying to mess around with a whole load of augers everywhere, and I just don't want to be using front loaders. It's just a thing that I don't really want to do. This one here is just set up awkwardly. Does this one need water? Fertimaster. Oh, it doesn't actually need water. And neither does Seedmaster. Right, oh, that's okay. Let's take this one back over. I'll fill this back up. We can run that back down to the sheep later. We're also going to want to get started on the hay and everything, and that's what this tractor's going to be used for. So let's fill that one up and then shut you off. This tractor over here, we've now repaired this tractor. It was out of action for quite a while. So we'll lower down the fertilizer spinner, and we'll drop that one down there. I want to check the fields, actually, what we've just planted. If we go here to... Right, we've got weeds in both of these fields, and we're also going to need to put fertilizer on these fields as well. So that has to be done this month. We've got to do the weeding and also the fertilizer. So we're going to need to get materials in order to be able to do that. What do I want to do with you? Ploughing. We're off to do some ploughing with this one. I'm not going to use the front and rear mounted plows for this tractor. That's more a thing for the big tractor that we've got. So I could go and use either... Well, which way round do we want? I was going to use this plow over here. Oh, that's the front-mounted one there. So I could use that one, the rear-mounted one there, which is a 6-furrow reversible plow. Or we can use this one over here, which is a 7-furrow reversible plow. I'm hoping that this tractor is going to be just strong enough to be able to take this. I reckon it's probably going to be alright. Alright, and I'll bring you over to there, and then I'll fold that plow there. It's ready to go. Swing on round here. See, we'd never be able to fit that cut master thing in this little area right here. There's just not the space for it. Let's take you up this way. I'm pretty sure I just smashed that wheel into the ground on there. There was one of these that the wheel would run along the ground. It was an Amazon one, and I think it was FS15 was the last. It might have been available in FS17. It definitely wasn't in 19. I used to really like it because the wheel on the back would flip over and it would travel on the ground. But there were some slight issues with it when you were going over bumps and stuff. It kept sort of prying the tractor up into the air. So it wasn't, like, perfect. It did have a little bit of movement on it. But, yeah. So I don't know if this is a real-life thing or not, having the wheel just floating like that as you go along, or if the wheel does actually travel on the ground for the tractor. I genuinely don't know on that one. Right, we're going to bring you over there, and I'm actually going to go this way around the field. And I'm thinking what I'd like to do is at least once around the field. Maybe I could do twice around the field, and then we'll let the hired help carry on and do the rest of it. So with this field, once we do get around to planting it, I don't know what I'm going to put in here yet, still, but it'll be a spring crop that we put in here. We're not going to need to worry about doing any weeding in this field. That is at least one positive of having to plough the whole thing up. And then it'll be the same with the sugar beet fields as well. We're going to have to plough both of those. One of them, the one that's got the sugar beet that's not ready yet, that one was grass, and I ploughed all that in without mowing it or anything, and there were a few of you that were pretty horrified at me doing that. And now I'm actually going to turn it back into grass again, which I imagine some of you are probably even more horrified about. I've just gone and basically wasted it. But on the plus side, we have at least had one crop of sugar beet out of the field. I mean, yes, admittedly, we didn't plan to have a crop of sugar beet out of that field. We planned to have a crop of corn out of that field. But, well, plans didn't happen. I'm kind of thinking it would be good to put corn in this field a second time, because then we'd have a nice big corn harvest, but I don't actually want to do that. I don't like the idea of doing the same crop in the field twice in succession, although it does happen. The big estate that I used to work on, their crop rotation was always 2 wheat crops followed by a barley crop. Now, well, it wasn't always. It was usually 2 wheat crops followed by a barley crop. They didn't necessarily have 2 winter wheat crops. A winter wheat, I think, was first. The following year, they would do a spring wheat planting, and then they would do barley, and I'm not quite sure what the criteria for barley was with it, like whether there was something to do with the yield before they decided whether it was going to be a spring or a winter crop. I'm not quite sure. I know that we did do both on there, and then there would be a crop of peas or oilseed rape, or, well, it's part of the canola family, but it's all oilseed rape in this country. Canola is actually a separate plant, but it gets very confusing because most of the world calls it oilseed rape, or OSR, and in the US and Canada is all referred to as canola. Where it gets a little bit confusing is that canola is actually a different plant to oilseed rape. It's in the same family, but it's like a different variety. Canola is not as bitter as the rapeseed oil, the canola oil, and you end up with slightly different properties in whatever food you're cooking with it. See, little bits there. I need to be overlapping a bit more on this. I'm missing little tiny bits on the edge. It's kind of weird, the behavior of the ground textures when you're doing the outside edge of a field. I mean, that's not surprising or weird, that bit right there. That's just the game doing what the game does right there. Missing little tiny bits like that. There's nothing that you can do about that either. Like that's apparently right down in the ground. Let me try doing it that way. There. It's that one little bit there in that gateway. You know what? We could actually, while we're here with the plough, we could actually straighten all of this out. There's another little bit there that's just missed. But we could straighten all of this out while we're here with the plough, because we've had some issues with this. This is not the first time we've had an issue with this. So if we go to the landscaping bit right here, and then we take this leveling bit. Actually, the leveling bit is not going to work. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to use this bit, and I'm going to need to kind of press this down. The problem with pressing down is the other function, the smoothing function that we would then need to go and use in this, does not work properly in this game, and it is a real source of irritation to me. I really despise the fact that they've gone and given us a smoothing function that doesn't work properly. And it doesn't. It absolutely does not work properly. It only smooths down. It doesn't smooth up. So if I put this over here, right, if I make that just a little bit bigger, he says it doesn't bring up. It doesn't normally bring up very much at all. It's kind of, it's smoothing downwards, but it's not bringing very much of that up there. Yeah. It doesn't raise it at all. It will leave the dents in the ground unless it's very extreme, and then it does appear that if there's a very extreme bit, it will do it, but generally speaking, to me, that is a bad design. There's a failure there on the part of the actual game. I do find it disappointing that it doesn't work properly. Like, it should be bringing that back up again. It absolutely should be bringing that back up again, and I really don't like that it doesn't do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to push this down a little bit more. Yeah, I'm just going to work on this a bit. I've made a couple of little alterations on it and moved the terrain quite considerably, and yes, I know I probably would have just been better off if I had basically just taken the field in a little notch away from this area, but I'm stubborn and I wanted to include the bit that was already included, so I'm just going to do that, and then I'll go over this bit down here a little bit more, and I'm not going to go any tighter than that to the edge, because that's just going to be getting greedy. And I run up through here. That should be everything that we need to do, and I can at least use the field. The field that was already there, I'm now able to go and use it, which I feel is a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. The other thing I need to do is finish getting around the outside edge of the field. And it's always the outside edge. Like I was saying, the outside edge always seems to be a little bit weird. You've only got... If you don't quite... Well, it's not even that you don't quite get all of it. If you don't overlap the edge enough, you can miss pieces. When you're in the middle of the field, it's fine. It's just the way the game textures kind of work, you've got to really overlap a lot on the outside bit in order to fully get everything ploughed right under. And it always seems a little bit odd having to do the outside one all the way. Like, you've got to have overlap like this, otherwise you do end up with little bits being missed. So what I'm going to do is another pass around the edge of the field after I finish this one, and then we're going to... Actually, we'll get straight on with the sugar beet harvest. We can start working on that one. Once we've done the sugar beet harvest, or once we've gotten started with it, then we can start having a look at getting a mower and tedder and stuff like that ready to go and do the hay with for the sheep. Very important that we get all of that done. We'll only lease the equipment for doing that, and then once we've got the hay finished, then we'll have a look at what money we've got left and how much we can use to buy some of our new sheep. I'm not planning, like, I'm not expecting us to be able to get loads of sheep to start with. Like, we would probably only end up being able to get like 20 of them to begin with, and then once we've had them for a little bit and we get a little bit more money, maybe we can buy a few more. We should have the protein food being made by that point, because that's what the sugar beet is going to be for, so they will then be able to start reproducing themselves on top of us possibly being able to buy a few extras. We also have our fence all the way down the top of the embankment here this time, so hopefully the tractor won't actually attempt. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.